Welcome to Rock Solid, the Round Rock Business Leaders Podcast. Join your host, Bryan Eisenburg, as he explores the journeys of entrepreneurs and companies across Round Rock, Texas. From startups to large organizations, each guest shares their passion for doing business in this thriving community. Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bryan Eisenburg, and I'm here with Jen Henderson from Henderson Professional Engineering, HPE, right?
That's right.
Jen, you are a civil engineer, okay? And like most people, we've probably never hired a civil engineer. So tell me a little bit about what you do.
Oh, that's a great question. So, as a civil engineer, civil engineering is a very broad field, and I have a little bit of a niche in that. My niche is in construction plan sets for everything outside of your building. So the things you don't think about until it's a problem. So when you walk just outside of your building and you get in your car, I could design that parking lot, the water pipe that's underneath your feet, the wastewater pipe that's under your feet. And I also look at the rainwater runoff to make sure that it's going to get away from your car. And I say that you don't think about us because you don't think about us until there's a puddle and you go, why is there a puddle? And no one ever says, well, it's the civil engineer, because it's usually not. We design it very well so that there's not puddles, unless we want there to be. That's obvious. And so everything outside of your building, I can work in that. I can help you annex your property, can help you disannex your property if you don't want to be in the city. I can help you with your zoning. Make sure that whatever you want to put on your piece of land can actually be put there based on the regulations. And then I do the construction plans. I'll draw those up for you. A contractor will build them when I get them permitted. And then I'll oversee their construction to make sure that what I've designed is actually going on the site.
So let's start there, because one of the things I'm hearing about the permitting and all of that, and obviously we're here in Round Rock, Texas, and one of my questions for you is, as a civil engineer, I know you grew up in Texas, not from this area, but you moved here. What do you think the biggest difference is between something like Travis County and what everyone knows is Austin, big, fast growing city, and Round Rock, and why we here, and how does that make Round Rock such a great place to start a business?
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of questions in that one question. I think as far as reviews and permits go, Round Rock is one of the easier places to get permitted. They do have stringent regulations, which is good, but they don't review time and time and time and time again, and they really stick to their deadlines. The things I have in Travis County and in the city of Austin seem to take multiple rounds of reviews. It just seems like there's more and more people who have to look at our plans in those municipalities. The further away you get from Austin, the easier it is to get permitted. I don't remember what you said about Amarillo, but I was born and raised in Amarillo, went to Texas Tech, and then I moved to Round Rock just after that. And I've been here for almost 20 years now. So I've been here longer than I haven't.
Well, let's talk. There's a couple things I want to kind of backtrack on. So you mentioned puddles early on, and I do want to get back to why you moved here. But you mentioned these puddles, and I always like to say, as a New Yorker who moved down here, Central Texas seems to have 3 seasons. It's hot, hotter, and weird.
That's one day, right?
Yes, and one day too, right? You can have that. We'll have a 30, 40 degree shift and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As an engineer, how do you plan for those things when you're working on it and not having the parking lot crack and get those big puddles and all of that?
As far as the runoff is concerned, we make sure that the topography that we put on the site is actually going to make the stormwater come away from the building. We look at different storm events. That's what you call them. A storm event is it's really theoretical, and we look at how much water is falling from the sky. We look at like a 2-year event, which is like these all come with percentage chances, right? So there we look at 2-year, 10-year, 25-year, and 100-year. That 100-year event isn't something we've ever seen. Since I've been here
Mm-hmm.
and been designing here, the largest storm event I have seen is the 88-year storm.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't quite got to the 100, but we look to make sure that at least the theoretical amount of water that could possibly fall here will be able to get away from your building and not flood it. Second to that, we also have to make sure that the water coming off of your site post-development, so after everything's built, is less than the water that was going off your site before anything was built. That's why you have detention ponds, is to hold that water back so that it doesn't flood your neighbor.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. The house that I moved into, we were one of the first ones on the block when the previous owner built it, and he built it on such a way that water always runs down my driveway, and I never have to worry about that. But I'm sure you and our friend, our mutual friend Bill Combs, will have a lot to talk about, because obviously his passion for meteorology as well,
Yeah.
because those storms kind of crazy. So, what brought you to Round Rock, and why do you enjoy it so much? I know you have a family. What is it about Round Rock that makes it so special for you?
Well, I didn't choose Round Rock. Round Rock chose me.
Okay.
The day after I graduated from college, I knew that I was moving away from Lubbock. I got in my car and I started driving. I was in a very bad relationship at that time. Started driving, and I just happened upon Round Rock. And Round Rock decided that I should stay here when it gave me a job. I was working for a construction company. I just happened upon it, loved the area, loved where I was, found an apartment. The rent was cheap. It was $1 for the first month. So I got to move in with nothing. Everything I had in my car is what I moved in with. And, there were places like the Habitat Restore that had some stuff to get me on my feet. I had a computer with me. I got that job at the construction company, started working for them. It was a great job to start. It's hot in July, and I didn't want to be outside, which made me change jobs. But it was a great start and a great first look at the community. I'll be forever grateful to him for that job.
That sounds awesome. And what is it about Round Rock that's grown obviously a lot in the last 20 plus years since you've been here that you love so much with your family and get to enjoy on a regular basis?
Man, I love that I can do everything in this little area with my family. I live in Round Rock, not far from our mutual friend Bill. My office is here in Round Rock. I can work here. I've always worked really close to Round Rock, if not in Round Rock. My kids go to school here. My kids can go to college here. I just love that everything is right here. The people are so friendly. I've met some really genuine people. My best friends live here. It's just been a really good community to me.
Now, I know you're a big sports fan, especially baseball and softball, and we
That's
are in the
right.
sports capital of Texas. But I have to ask a question as a civil engineer. With all the baseball stadiums out there, as a civil engineer, which one impresses you the most, and which one would you love a chance to redo?
Oh man. The one I'm most impressed by is the Texas Rangers Stadium. Who
I'm
isn't,
with you.
right?
I'm with you.
We need that. If we could just put a covering over Dell Diamond, wouldn't that be nice? If we could have some youth sports fields that are indoors, man, that would be so fascinating too. Um, Man, the stadium I hated the most, my son and I took an epic adventure to it this last summer. And it was where the Oakland A's were playing.
Hmm.
We went to go see them before they moved out of that stadium. When I walked into it, it felt like I was going into the 1960s again. Um, it was great while it lasted. They didn't keep it up well. And so if I could redo one, it'd be that
It
one.
would be that one. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can think of a couple that, I've done an epic baseball tour with my son. We drove around, from New York all the way back down here, and we hit a bunch of different spots. Kansas City was rough for me. I gotta
Was
tell
it?
you, yeah, all that concrete, and it was middle of summer, it was just
Yeah.
so hot. We were in St. Louis right before that, and that was gorgeous.
That's a beautiful stadium too.
Well, and I was
Yeah.
fortunate enough to meet a friend of mine was friends with the CMO, and he took my son, and we
Mhm.
took him all around inside, showed him all the different kinds of jobs
Oh,
you
how
can have in the
fun.
industry in the radio room. Then brought him to his office and showed him, here are all the goodies we give away. Take a bag and fill yourself up with them.
Oh,
So I think he
wow.
became a part, a little bit of a Cardinals fan that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a beautiful stadium as well. And I'm coming from New York, where the home of Babe Ruth, and then moving to the new stadium. That was rough. That
Oh, I
was
bet.
rough.
Yeah.
That was rough. Um, so tell me, what's your favorite spot here in Round Rock? If someone's coming in from out of town to meet with you about maybe a project, where do you want to take them?
Oh gosh, it's always different. There's not one specific
Okay, so
place that we
give me your
go.
top three, your
Um,
go-tos.
hmm, really depends on what events are happening and
Okay.
what's going on. I think that Old Settlers Park is an amazing, um, it's a gem that we have, and I'm so glad to see that it's being expanded and that it's going to be even more beautiful when all of that's done. So I like to take people there. We have some great restaurants around here too. Um, I don't want to name one because they're all so good. Um,
Putting on
where
the
else
spot
would
here.
we go? We go to a lot of baseball fields. I like taking people to the Express game.
Mm-hmm.
We're season ticket holders of well, at the Express, and I think that just the stadium and being in it and the feel is just amazing. No 2 games are ever alike, you know? Sometimes my son and I will go and watch a couple of innings. We'll, analyze the baseball players and
Mm-hmm.
we'll discuss what we think they're doing wrong or right and how he can change his game to be more like them. My daughter's a really big fan of the food.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if they have anything with glitter, she's gonna need to be there and get her share of
Their Princess Day, for
glitter.
example. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We went on pickleball day as well. We got to play pickleball in the little event center, and I think that that's a great thing too. They don't just have baseball. You can have an event there. You can, if you wanna have a company lunch there, you could do that or a training, and I think that that partnership with the city is what's really gonna drive that park to be one of the best.
Oh, for sure, and they keep winning awards, and again, it's AAA baseball, and it's
Yeah.
great. It's great quality, owned, but the Ryans and stuff like that. So it's got all that influence, and
Yeah.
the people of the Round Rock Express, the whole office staff is also just amazing. They do a fabulous job.
They really are. Yeah.
So, kind of wrapping up here, you went from having this job, you didn't have anything, to starting your own business. I know it got started talking around COVID time.
Mhm.
Um, what's made you successful? Like, how'd you do it? Like, how'd you get to be so known for what you do?
Am I successful? I don't really feel like I am, but I don't really have my eye on that either. I think that what brings, what keeps us in business is the friendships that I have and just knowing the people around here and keeping engaged. I think being involved in the nonprofits around here is huge. I think being part of the chamber is really big for me. Like you said, we started this business in COVID, and we started in a time where we didn't know what tomorrow looked like, and we could only do the best with what we had,
Hmm.
and so that's what we did. We started, I acquired the business from a corporate company that was closing its doors. So we started day one with stuff to do, and we just continue to get more things to do from those relationships that I've formed with everyone. And I think that we have a very robust nonprofit sector here, and keeping those alive is what's key to this community.
100%. Okay, final question. If you had to point to anything in the city that just is a perfect example of amazing civil engineering, what would it be?
Oh gosh. I can find flaws in
We can
everything.
follow the floor. I'm talking about the thing that just an amazing thing that just like if you wanted to point to one thing that someone says, "Oh, this was so well done," for
Just
that
one
makes us
thing.
iconic, that stands out about the city. What would it be?
I don't know that I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I can think of some great projects that I like. You know, sorry, that's disgusting.
Mhm.
Um,
He'll edit it out. Don't
but
worry.
good. Thank you. Let's see. One of the things that I like, there's this flooring company over on Chisholm Trail, and we worked on that building. It's a smaller company, and I felt like we were fitting the biggest building we could on this postage size stamp lot, right? And so I feel like that's a really great example because we got the building there, we have a water quality pond, we have a detention pond, works really well. I drive by it all the time and I think it's wonderful. Um, the Rudy's over at 35 and 3406, that's got an underground detention pond that I'm pretty proud of that too. That works really well. Um, I like that we have so many water quality ponds in Round Rock. When you go outside of the hill country area, you don't see municipalities treating water. And what I mean by that is there's a filter system
Mhm.
to take the oils and the minerals and trash bags out of the water. And I think that's really helpful for the environment here. And I like that we do that. Um, any, Kalahari that is a feat, a civil
Mhm.
engineering feat in itself. Um,
World's largest indoor water park right here in Round Rock.
yeah. And there's a lot of land over there and it's right next to a floodplain. And so I think that's a great project. I didn't work on that one.
Mhm.
But I think the civil engineer who did an amazing job. Um,
You mentioned the water treatment. You brought like nightmares to me because I grew up in part of Brooklyn that was very near the water plant, and so we'd drive by it, and you
yeah.
you knew you were there on the summer days if the wind blew the wrong way.
Yeah.
It would still hit my house, and that was not very well designed. I mean, I remember even going on a field trip
Yeah.
in school with it. That was a nightmare.
Was that water or wastewater treatment?
That was wastewater treatment, but yeah, they also
Yeah.
had a water treatment area nearby too.
Yeah,
So
water usually doesn't smell, but wastewater is fantastic. Yeah. There's some fields over in Pflugerville, the Northeast Metro fields that if you're
yes.
there at the right time, the fragrance that you're going to get is just something you can never forget.
And let's not talk about some of the weird hops you'll get off of that wonderful infields
Oh, that is
there.
so true.
Yeah,
Well, they are redoing some of those fields now, so that's really
that's a
good.
blessing. Yeah, my
Yeah.
son's grown up past those, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Okay, so final words of wisdom. Someone's thinking about starting a business here. What are you sharing with them?
Oh man, the advice that I would give someone is go talk to people at the chamber, go talk to other business owners, and, make sure that the business you want to do is going to work. You know, there's some people with some great advice here. I've gotten some great advice from other business owners who aren't civil engineers, about things I should be involved in, events I need to go to, or, maybe went over the top with something. Having those mentors in this city where you want to have your business is huge.
Thank you so much, Jen, for your time today.
Yeah, you're welcome.